Finally, in the news this morning, Monday, the 3rd of April, starting the new month, the autonomy of the central bank was in the news and now in the news. Now, The Punch, one of Nigeria's national dailies, wrote an editorial about a dozen paragraphs saying, quote, that the CBN autonomy, and that's the title, CBN autonomy should be sacrosanct, end of quote. And the newspaper went on to say that lack of skilled coordination between the fiscal and monetary authorities is what creates problems. And that like quoting something out of what the IMF says last week, that it expects the fiscal authorities, that the federal government, the executive branch of the Buhari's administration, to work more closely with the central bank, which is the monetary side of the engine that runs the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And we'll talk more about all of that on the program for the rest of the week. So, more earnings releases are also coming through from listed companies, and you saw a bit of that last week, and that's responsible for some of the gains you saw in the market last week from the industrial goods segment of the market, where you have Julius Berger, one of the industry giants, and of course Dangote Sugar, reporting better than expected numbers despite the blistering effect of the volatile FX market in 2016. That was the year we floated the managed floats, whatever you want to call it, by the central bank under Godwin Emefiele. And the IMF says it welcomes some of the restrictions that has happened since the month of February. Let's go to the markets. What does the stock market look like? Of course, on Thursday was when the market had a flip 1% to the upside when NIPCO concludes that 60% purchase of the ExxonMobil shares in Mobil Oil Nigeria. That rallied the market. 90 billion was the net value of that deal. And the market took that on its stride with the Seplat earnings, and the market made a jump. So, you can see the oil share index, we managed a 0.2%, 8.8 trillion in market cap. Take a look at the key numbers as far as the primary indicators were concerned. Almost 3.1 billion on Friday. A total value 104.21 billion naira, and the deals 14,674. But look at the weekly, and you can see how they all stacked up. The banking sector lost 1.1%. But the oil and gas was the big boy for the week we just finished, the final trading week in the month of March for the first quarter, 3.95%. The industrial goods clawed 2.16% in the green, supported by their cousins, the consumer goods, 0.21%. The insurance followed their big brother, the banking sector, to the south. So the action for the final week was in those three sectors: oil and gas, industrial goods, and consumer goods. Then you look at the NESD. That's the unlisted securities market, where they will be playing football very soon, as 8 club sides from Nigeria's Premier League would be coming for some listing and perhaps IPOs. So you can see about 0.5% gain on the unlisted securities index. Flip it over and let's spend about a minute to talk through to the bonds and the treasury bills market from the FMDQ OTC Securities Exchange. And you can see a summary of the FGN Naira bonds. A bit of a lackluster week Friday. And that's what you can see there. Look at the total volume, 11.4 billion. A little bit, well, it's okay. We can do away with that. Then you say the treasury bills, where action was a little bit more blistering to the south, 2.24 billion naira in the week we just finished. This is one of the lowest we've seen at the secondary market in total for a single trading day via the FMDQ. So, what do all of this mean as we get into the new month of April? Omotola Abimbola will raise the curtain for us today. He's joining us from Afrinvest. He's one of the investment analysts. Good morning.
Good morning, Boasen.
Yeah, very interesting March. Welcome to April. Look into the Ouija board, as it were, and give us your reading for the new month.
March was a very positive month for the equity markets. The whole share index was up about 4.7%, thanks to strong bargain hunting in consumer goods companies and some very positive rally in industrial goods companies, thanks to the strong earnings results from a number of cement companies like WAPCO and Dangote Cements. Now, looking at the month of April, we're expecting the market to stay very positive as well. Q1 earnings will be coming out anytime from now, particularly from tier 1 banks and cement companies as well. And for these two sectors, we're expecting some very, very strong numbers. For cement companies, thanks to the increase in cement prices and the reduction in energy costs being witnessed across the bigger players in the sector, we're expecting very strong earnings numbers for the two companies in the sector that we cover actively. That's WAPCO and Dangote Cement. For tier 1 banks as well, we have seen interest rates persist over the past 1.5 years, and due to that, interest income we also come in very strong for banking companies as well. So by and large, we're expecting the equity market to stay positive, one, due to Q1 earnings releases that will be coming out anytime from now, and two, because also expect the macroeconomic environment to also witness a bit of calm. The central bank has become much more liquid due to the increase in oil prices of recent, and oil production particularly. So due to that, we have seen exchange rates converging between the parallel market and the interbank market. So if you had the Q1 earnings numbers to the positive signs we are seeing in the macroeconomic environment, we think the month of April should be very positive for the equity markets.
I love it. I love positive on Monday. Let's put on the positive vibrations, as it were. So that's the way it is. So let's get over with a positive note. Now, what news are you looking for, in particular, in the month of April? You talk about the earnings that will come in, but again, from the general news space, what do you want to hear?
The story everyone wants to hear, particularly investors, the story wants to hear is reform, story of reforms, reforms in the FX market, structural reforms regarding the ease of doing business environment, reforms in the power sector, reforms in the solid mineral sector. We all want that, but going basically to the core data that will be coming out in April, which investors are looking towards to. We're expecting inflation numbers for March to come out between this week and next week. March inflation, we are forecasting it to also moderate.
Okay. Sorry, I'm not sure that means, but I guess we got to cut it there. Thank you very much. I apologize sincerely. We have a lot to chew, as always, in the crossover, 1 quarter, 1 month to the next. Omotola Abimbola, investment analyst from Afrinvest. Let's come back to you after the break. Bismarck Rewani is going to weigh in on the latest IMF, on the ERGP and the FX market. Stick around. We'll also talk about the stock market on the energy side of things.